Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said before, your girl's gonna start rolling out more videos, getting more content out there. I have more than enough time to do it. And I'm like, you know what, what's the worst that can happen? You feel me? Now, if you looking at this hat, okay, it's cute, you feeling it. I'm gonna link this new designer that I met up with maybe like a day ago. Well, by the time I post this, it'll be a few days ago. And he has some fire gear, okay? Like, all right, you feel me? And then it matched my, come on. So yeah, I'm gonna post the designer too if you're interested in this hat. But for today's video, I will be discussing like the career path that I just put my best forward in and just was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And basically, as of right now, I consider myself a model because that is what I want to do. That is who I want to be. And it wasn't until, I'll say, look, before we even get into logistics, whatever you want to do it. If you in your early 20s, 19, 18, whatever, start. The best thing you could ever do is just start. Pick up somewhere. It'd be better if you pick up somewhere and never pick up anything. And that's ultimately how I felt about just wanting to start modeling. So in my notebook, I wrote some notes. And I'm just discuss how like I just came about it and how it's been going for me and my future goals and what I wish to manifest in maybe 2021, 2022, you never know. My life could change, okay? Like, you never know. So, I'll say this. One day, I was working at this job. I used to work at Sweet Greens. And if you ever worked at Sweet Greens, you know that job is very much so time consuming. I never had time to do anything that I wanted to do. I was literally at work all the time. And I just remember one day, I'm like, yo, I'm not happy here. Like, I'm here every day. I'm not doing nothing that I want to do. Then on top of that, I left college. I didn't finish school. So it was feeling real dead-endish for me. Like I started to feel like my life was over. I would be working here for years and years. Mind you, I'm only 21. And I'm like, no, this is not how I want my life to be. Like I really want to be proud of what I do by the time I'm like 25, 26, you know? So one day I was at work and I'm like, you know what? I quit. I'm out of here. I quit. Your girl not coming back. I walked out with class. Excuse me, I got my coquito. I walked out with class and I'm like, you know what? Today, Chanel, you will put your best foot forward and you're gonna start doing what you want to do. And ultimately, it felt like my heart actually desired this. Like, it was in my heart. I always knew I wanted to model since I was a little girl. It was just how and when. And just ultimately having that courage to just, you know, pick up and start. So, I remember my biggest inspiration of all time was Tyra Banks. Like, Tyra Mofo Banks. I always loved Tyra. I always felt like I could connect with Tyra because I remember one thing she said that always stood out with her since she was a little girl was having a huge forehead and just being so awkward and tall. And I just remember growing up just feeling the same way, identifying. So she was always my inspiration for why I would ever become a model. And I pray that one day, when I become a supermodel, and I actually like shake hands with her and just meet her and tell her like, yo, like, you're the reason why I want to be here. But I remember the day after I quit, I get a DM from this photographer, and I'll even link him too because he's dope as F. He was like, yo, like, you want to do a shoot? And I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is God's timing. He knew that I actually wanted to do this. Like, come on. Literally, all I had to do was just shut that old part of my life out and boom, girl, get started. So I just remember he's like, yo, let's shoot and we could just go from there. So I'll show you guys a few pictures from my first shoot, you know, how it went. And I remember my first photo shoot, I was super nervous. I felt like I had no idea on how to work the camera, poses, or anything. Like, I just was nervous, but I was just so happy that I'm like, you know what, Chanel, like, you're taking this step, and I'll never forget that. Like, honestly, I actually need to go print those pictures out, because I feel like that would be like a milestone for me in my like career, because it was literally my first photo shoot ever. But as time is going on, I do want to share with you guys some things that I've learned, and want to like give you guys some sauce if you're out there, you want to start modeling and stuff like that. Some things you actually need to keep in the back of your mind. And I got my handy dandy notes, because I like writing notes. And one thing that I've been learning since I've started working in the modeling industry is shake a hand. Now, this is important because you never know who you could meet. So if you have like a very like shy and laid back kind of personality, you're in the wrong place, because you really need to start meeting people and networking. You'd be surprised who you meet. Like, hello, motherfucker. I went to a casting. Well, by the time I post this, I went to a casting, and I knew automatically that I need to start networking. Who's who? Are you a model? Are you a photographer? And stuff like that. Because you never know. Like, if you want to model, you'll meet a photographer that's just wanting to start out, and he's actually looking for somebody, a muse, to take pictures of so he could post on his page for content. And it works out for you because it's like, okay, I need a portfolio as a model. So that's what I'm saying, like, start networking, start meeting people, because that's literally the most important thing you could ever do. And not only if you're modeling, you actually have to sit here and try to branch off and meet other models, because you never know. A model needs another model for this shoe, or a model is like, just start meeting people. So another piece of advice I could give you guys is work with a solid budget. Now look, I ain't the most wealthiest, and we in a pandemic. And like I said, I had to walk away from a job because it wasn't working out. So ultimately it left me broke. My pockets were a little empty for a few months. I ain't afraid to say it, because I was down bad, but I knew where I wanted to be. So I knew when I had this little bit of money that it was time for me to sit there and try to create some content, do a photo shoot with this guy, or reach out to this photographer and do this. And not only creating content, but also understanding that if I want to be a model, I have to look the part. So how can I still manage to keep up with fashion, but still keep it in the budget? So like, I'll sit there. I started using Afterpay for like certain websites, because Afterpay is key. I'll sit there and try to go thrifting, things like that, to always stay in the loop with fashion and just never break the bank, because sometimes I be broke as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. I be broke as fuck. Now, number 3, one thing that I'm learning as a model is that not only do you want to be a beautiful face and a muse, but you also need to branch yourself out as a business person. Now, I may not have everything together business-wise, but I do sit here and create plans and have like ideas for what I want to do, because I don't want to just be a pretty face, because not only do I have a pretty face, I have a strong mind, and I'm actually fairly smart. So how can I tie all of this together to just ultimately brand myself? So that's why I started modeling. Then I started doing YouTube and trying to create more content and seeing how that all works out, because you never know, it could work out. And what's another thing? Make sure you're constantly posting on your social medias. Now for me, I'm not huge on social media. Like, I'll scroll through it all day, but like, I don't want to be that person that lives for Instagram. Like, I have to post on Instagram. If I don't post on Instagram, then I'm gonna die. Like, I don't want to live my life like that, because I feel like social media is ultimately killing us. But that's another conversation for another thing. But you do actually need to keep your Instagram or whatever social medias you have flowing with content. Like, it needs to be flowing, because say if I'm a designer and this happens, like, yo, I just want to meet like a local girl that has raw talent, and you got 5 pictures on your Instagram. What I'm gonna do with that? So you need to, like, say if you outside, you know you got a good outfit on, yo, take this picture of me. Like, always keep your content going. Always sitting there looking at how people pose, what people do, learning how to do hashtags. Hashtags actually really work. Hashtags help you boost up your followers. It's so much. But one thing I can honestly say, if you're trying to be a model or you're starting out, learn social media, because social media is like a lucrative business almost in a way, and I feel like you can make a lot of money. I haven't really made money off of social media, but as I'm learning and researching how it works, I can see how like people are making bankrolls, like for real. And one last thing I have to say, because it's important for my gentlemen, my women, never mix business with pleasure. Don't do it. Don't, especially as a model. Don't you dare. Let me sip some coquito. Don't do it. I'm gonna tell you why. As a model, it's super tempting to be like, damn, who that? Because you're gonna see a lot of male models, and if you're a guy, you're gonna see a lot of women, good looking women that's like, oh. And it's super tempting to sit there and be like, damn, shorty, what's your name? Or damn, daddy, who you? But for all that, cut it out. Just look at this as, this is my place of work and I have to keep it professional, and these are my coworkers. Now, I want to say whatever you guys do outside of work, it doesn't matter, but it does, because you can sit here and be messing with somebody in the model industry and God forbid, it don't work out. Now look, we still have business ties together. So how awkward is it that I was romantically involved with somebody thinking that it was cool, but we have business ties together. So now when it's time for us to do business, it's hard to face you. It's super awkward. It's don't do it. Like, as tempting as it is, get you a lawyer, get you a construction worker. Ain't nothing wrong with a 9-to-5 kind of person. But for me, if I want to be in the industry, the entertainment industry, I don't know if I want to be with somebody or deal with somebody that's in that lane. I mean, it's cool because we have like the same ideas and thoughts, but no. It ain't working, boo. It ain't working. Don't do it. Because it gets messy and we don't like mess. Okay? Now, what's in store for me now? So I have a fashion show coming up February 27th. It's the Black Excellence Fashion Show. And basically I found this through someone who is actually trying to build themselves up in the underground modeling industry. So I want to say he's basically like taking me under the wing, and I'll even link all his social medias. He's a super dope guy. He has very pure intentions for everybody, and he ultimately wants to see everybody win. So yeah, make sure you buy your tickets, because I'm gonna be there, and the tickets are super inexpensive. We definitely will be following COVID guidelines, so you do have to come with a mask. So if you are watching this, I'll definitely link the Eventbrite where you can purchase a ticket, and I hope to see you guys there soon. Also, in the upcoming month of February, I do have a few photo shoots that I'm trying to put together for myself. So I definitely want to have a Valentine's Day shoot themed. I feel like every girl is probably going to do that, but I want that because ultimately I want more content on my page and I want a bigger portfolio. And on a regular basis, when I'm not trying to sit here and, you know, develop shoots, which also photo shoots are not always expensive. You have photographers out here that are just starting up and they want to shoot, so they'll do photo shoots for $60, $100. You save enough money and you invest in yourself and you can have more content. So I see it as me just investing in myself. But when I'm not doing shoots or trying to develop shoots, I'm ultimately always looking for casting research. Oh, casting research. I'm always researching for casting calls. So you have a lot of new designers out here that are ultimately looking for models to come and sit there and wear their clothes, and you know, it's okay. Excuse me. You know, so I'm always looking for a casting call, always looking for a new opportunity, always doing research, always trying to teach myself more etiquette as a model, because this is something I ultimately want to do and take far in my life and have it become one of my major incomes. But ultimately, I do still have to learn the ins and outs. I'm still a newbie, but I pray that it works in my favor. And also, for whoever is watching this video and you want to try out to be a model, one thing I can always say to you is don't be afraid to try. Just take the first step, because literally the first step will be a step to 10,000. And I'm like living proof. I took one step, and literally ever since I took that one step, it's been going up since. So once you go up, there's no going down. Of course, it's gonna be hard moments, and there's gonna be times where you don't have no money, but literally be creative, improvise, do what you gotta do to go where you need to go. So this is the ending of my video. I don't want to get too long-winded because this is just the beginning, but I definitely want you guys to go leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and watch how my life may turn out. You never know. I could be the next supermodel. I could be the next Naomi Campbell, next Tyra Banks. We need more melanated models anyway. Okay? So, thank you. Bye, guys.